Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We've been able to make it into game number 3. We're going to be taking a look at the Shanghai Dota 2 Open Season 2. It's going to be ehome facing off against Vici Gaming. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by PqMz. We're going to be hopping into this elimination game. All or nothing, ride or die, it's now or never. All the other tropes that you could possibly come up with. And how are you feeling about these two teams? Do you think that there's one that sort of stood above the other as far as the first two games that we've seen of them?
Well, I feel like last game was just the draw factor, honestly. That hero, it's very, very strong in what it does. And when you can enable a hero like Dusa, who kind of is just a walking tank, life becomes very easy for you. But hopefully there won't be any of that this game, because Drow's taken out.
And she's going to be Gonzo, no longer there and with them.
Reserve time.
I do like that. Yeah, I guess that I would kind of agree that it felt like in that last one, just kind of got the better of him by virtue of running a trial strat. Sometimes you just get away with it. The first pick is going to be going the way of Vici Gaming. I mean, Kunkka, he's a hero that we've seen a lot. Do you think that he's worthy of a first phase pick, or what is the way that is there any hero that's just like best overall in your opinion?
I think if Oracle's available, I would always gravitate towards that hero. But in this situation, Kunkka, OD are probably the two I would look towards.
10 seconds remaining.
Everything else is just kind of player preference.
ehome's turn
But in China,
to
I know teams love both those heroes, regardless of how long they've played them.
Yeah, I like this
Just kind
pickup.
of the meta right now.
It's incredibly powerful, and there's a couple of things that I've seen that deal with it pretty well.
10
There was a
seconds
Nyx assassin that went against it in the mid lane that felt really good. That was into an
Radiant
OD Bat
team
Rider
pick.
combo, so it was just like double value out of there. But man, ehome going immediately for that Juggernaut Darkseer combo. And I will mention real quickly, there was a little bit of a longer break between these two matches. I would imagine that ehome and Vici Gaming, maybe they went off, took a smoke break, or
10 seconds
talked a little bit about what strategy we want to use. It looks like ehome knew what they wanted to run, and they're taking it right now. What do you
ehome's
think about
turn
these
to
two
ban.
respective openings?
I personally prefer the OD and Axe. It just feels safer throughout most stages, because every time I've seen Darkseer recently, it hasn't really worked out. Last game, it
10
gave them the
seconds
windows
remaining.
early, but they couldn't really translate them as much as they would
5
like.
seconds remaining.
And Axe is just one of the best heroes at dealing with Jug in the game. You can cancel spin
Reserve
TP, you can
time.
call him an Omni, which no other hero has the ability to do.
Radiant team ban.
I know that's definitely one of the nicer ways that things can actually end up working, or being able to disable that guy. I mean, and that's part of the main reason that I feel like you take the Juggernaut. You want that untargetability, some amount of sustain
10
with your pushes
seconds
that come out
remaining.
with that healing ward. And I mean, he's just that
5
sort of,
seconds remaining.
he's that carry. He's not supposed to die in lane, gets away with whatever, amount of farm that he
ehome's
wants,
turn
and
to
tends to
ban.
not get shut down. But Axe might be able to
Radiant
punish that as
team
well.
ban.
I will say the Kunkka ban makes a lot of sense to me. With this OD and Axe opening, it feels like they can just kind of
ehome's
run at
turn to
ehome right
pick.
off the bat. Do you think that that's something ehome need to be worried about before the Darkseer gets the mech, just being heavily bullied by this Axe?
It kind of all comes down to timings on that. Because if Axe has a good laning stage and
10
somehow
seconds
manages to get like
remaining.
Vanguard and a Blink at 12 minutes, ehome are going to have problems.
5
If he
seconds remaining.
just has Blink at like 14 minutes and the Darkseer has a 10-minute mech, it can go both ways. So it really
Reserve
comes down to how
time.
they round it out. I like the bans from both sides, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The bounty,
Especially the bounty.
that's cool. I mean, that's something where if you find that extra little bit of vision, you can get the angle on them. The bonus movement speed also huge for these two melee heroes. Uh, I really, I mean, we've seen a lot of the Chinese teams also go for very aggressive play with their safe lane farmers. Is that something that we're going to be seeing similar here with the? Although I guess we don't know if Jug's going to be mid or in the safe lane, but I'm imagining Ion Show with the Juggernaut is a combo that ehome are going to want to take advantage of in that mid game.
It's kind of the same thing they wanted to do last game. Jug's one of the better heroes. Similar to kind of Ember Spirit. You just want to run at people with Iron Shell when you get the chance. So I don't think their safe laner has to do the same thing. They
Keeper
could
of
back
the
off with something
light.
that's gonna continue to
Radiant
scale a bit
team
better
pick.
or hit towers.
Now,
But they're very open-ended. Like I really like the Coddle here as well. It's so good against multiple things. The Vici might want to like continue going towards.
there were a couple of
10
moments in the
seconds
first game of
remaining.
this series too where the buff to blinding light, it was really evident
5
how
seconds
big that
remaining.
was, like how much that really changed, like just huge
Reserve
pushbacks.
time.
You're really like actually creating a much more separation than you would imagine with this hero now, and also just a bigger AoE, which means that if you're in a heavy right click hero like an OD, he's not going to be able to do as much as he might otherwise. So I like this a lot, and I also kind of wondered, a lot of the keepers that we've been seeing have been a part of aggressive tri lanes where they take a couple of early points and illuminate and just go out and spam the wave. Is that something that they could pair together with the Darkseer, or is that a little bit too weird of a lane?
I think it's feasible for sure, but chances are the Cuddle will be safe lane and then the Darkseer will either go to the jungle or start in the lane on his own.
Okay.
Because Darkseer's a hero that generally just wants to get level 2 from the first creep wave, and if you have a hero helping him out, he doesn't get that. A lot of offlaners even sacrifice their life to get level 2 and take the exchange. Or, they try to not die, obviously, but they don't mind doing the trade.
Now, one other thing I'll mention real quickly for anybody that hasn't seen the blinding light as of yet, its radius is now 675. And remember that
Ehome's turn to
since
pick.
we all remember from geometry, radius is just half of the circle. That's a really huge AOE. For a little bit of comparison's sake, black hole AOE, if you think about that in your mind's eye, that's 420 radius. So it's a
10
really
seconds
enormous amount of space that gets covered by the blinding light here, and
5 seconds
I'll have to see
remaining.
if it ends up making a difference. But I can imagine, like, if Axe goes in for a call and Coddle is able to get that off, all
Reserve
of a
time.
sudden you're in a potentially better situation.
I like how Black Hole's actually a meme with the range or radius. That's really cool. I never knew that. But yeah, Cuddle can be really good at counter-initiating Axe. You can push the Axe like further into your team to put him in even more problems and then stop the follow-up coming. I like the
Spirit
Disruptor here though. It's
Breaker.
very, very good hero against Jug. And
Radiant
obviously dealing with
team pick.
Darkseer in the lane, it helps a lot. This is one hero I was kind of throwing up in my head. I'm not really sure Chinese teams picked it, but LAN kind of goes with whatever. Spirit Breaker Darkseer is
Oh,
so strong in the early stages of the game, and it can really wreak
10
havoc on OD
seconds
as well.
remaining.
let me. There was a weird little hiccup. Let me just check my
5
router to make sure that
seconds
everything's
remaining.
working okay. Do you mind pontificating a little bit more about what you like about the Spirit Breaker pick while I make sure that my
Reserve
house isn't
time.
on fire?
Alright, so the reason I like Spirit Breaker is there's very few heroes that offer global presence from minute 1, and if the Axe goes up top, chances are he's not going to have the hardest time if it's only the Coddle, but there's always going to be kill potential, because Iron Shell lasts long enough that if the charge comes off, you will always have it by the time you connect. And Jug's also a hero in mid that, presuming it's a mid Jug, it could be safe
Sand
lane.
stands ready.
Point's kind of irrelevant though.
I
Ehome's
couldn't
If you
agree
have
turn
the
to
more.
pressure,
ban.
I couldn't agree more.
I just love it, honestly. It's such a pub thing,
um,
but it translates so well into real games. And Spirit Breaker, with a bit of RNG, can really just destroy people's early games. And OD is a hero that
10
thrives on
seconds remaining.
having a good laning stage because his comeback mechanism is extremely slow
5
jungle farming.
seconds remaining.
Extremely slow. Like some heroes like Razor, Elk, they can come back in the mid lane through hitting jungle
Reserve
creeps. OD
time.
is much more reliant on having a good laning stage or fighting with his team early.
well, Sven is going to be the pick. We have already talked about blinding light ad nauseum, it feels like, but it's another just great ability for them to throw this out there.
Radiant
I
team
mean,
ban.
late game BKB charges start getting low. It's still really pretty high value. Um, I guess though the thing that I'm wondering is how strong is this timing going to be of Vici Gaming, where you've got like Axe, Blink Dagger, and
10
you
seconds
jump in,
remaining.
follow through with the Sven stun, and just crits abound. Like, do you think ehome has the
5
heroes to
seconds
deal with that
remaining.
type of pressure?
Yeah, I think so, because I think they come online earlier. And Vici's timing
Radiant
can
team pick.
really range from, like, as you said, like the
Crystal
Axe Blink,
Maiden.
which, imagine around 12 minutes
ehome's
to
turn to
like
pick.
50 minutes. It's really unclear where they want to hit at the moment because they're very farm intensive, very greedy. The CM, I'm not so sure I like it because it's
Huh.
a very fragile hero, and I
I
feel like you pick the
10
hero for the mana
seconds
aura and
remaining.
the lane pressure, and you're already under an insane amount of pressure from Spirit Breaker
5
Darkseid, so you
seconds
kind of want to
remaining.
shore up your lanes, not worry about countering ehomes. It feels a bit odd to me.
well, and
They've obviously got a plan though. That you wouldn't pick this hero if you didn't have some kind of predefined, way of running it.
I really do want to see what FY does with this hero because there's a lot of different routes you can go with the CM early on. Like you can go for. I mean, either way, whatever ends up happening, you'll be level 2 by like 1 minute, 1 and a bit minutes.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you're very rapidly going to get those levels, and I'm kind of curious if FY tries to play it more aggressive and they even go for like a smoke play mid for a kill on the Timber Saw. Is that viable? I mean, he's only going to have either reactive armor or a Timber Chain, and if he has a
10
Timber Chain, you
seconds
can break
remaining.
it with OD Astral. If he has reactive armor, it's a good amount of
5
magical
seconds
damage. What are your
remaining.
thoughts? Is that a thing that could happen?
If they include the disruptor, maybe, but I'm not so sure. That because the thing is, if they do that, their safe lane's just gonna have a huge amount of problems.
Okay.
So I think the play for FY is you get level 2 and you make the decision: do you want to go heavy kill participation and take the point in Nova, or do you just want to show up your lanes, try and counterplay the Darkseid Spirit Breaker a bit, and just use the fact you get level 2 earlier than most supports? Because they do have kill potential on the lane with him rotating in. Sven does enough damage early, and then you can secure the kill with Glimpse.
Yeah.
Spirit Breaker can obviously throw a huge wrench into that, though, depending where he starts and how they read the map. I
Well,
feel like Vici have a lot to do, though. It kind of feels like ehome just have very easy execution to putting pressure, which is the luxury of Spirit Breaker as a hero. You just click Q on a hero and you create pressure on the map. You force TPs, and then things happen.
yeah, I'm a little bit on the train as well, but I mean, okay, so that to you then is the call. You're saying that you think ehome are going to be able to pull away with this one, game number 3, and knock Vici Gaming out. I'm putting you on the spot. Who you putting your money on? Who's the Arcanas for? You gotta steal
Um,
CM's Arcana and put it on somebody.
well, I'd have to say ehome.
Okay.
Just because of ease of execution. Darkseid Spirit Breaker is so hard to deal with what Vici supports have. Sure, you can glimpse them away, sure, you can frostbite the hero, but if they ever actually connect, you're dead.
Ooh,
Or you're running back to the fountain.
Boots first CM. There might be some shenanigans that come out. Um, well, this is going to be interesting. 11 also is just going to place down these 2 wards, so making sure this camp is blocked out. Although this is also dewardable if they happen to find a good angle on it. But Lanham not spotting anybody over here, and it looks like this is just going to be a free ward going in that direction for blocking out the camp.
I love these early smokes for wards, it just makes it so much easier to support. Or as an offlane, whoever TP's out. So if your smoke ever gets broken, you just don't place for wards, and then it's so much harder to deward. It's a nightmare as a support to just guess where they warded. And if you get it wrong, it can have such
30
huge
seconds
early
to
game
battle.
implications. Like this camp being blocked isn't necessarily as big a deal as this camp, but this game, Dax is not going to let you pull.
Are they
So
are they going to go mess with the axe in the jungle with FY? Is excuse me, what am I talking about? I'm silly. I am so silly. Don't worry about me. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. I didn't say anything. I promise. All right, we're gonna move on through there.
The
what do you
battle
mean that the CM's
begins.
going to help the Axe jungle?
Exactly. That's what I was talking about.
So,
Thanks for saving me. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing.
I think the best thing for CM to do is, zone the Darkseer, and then if the Darkseer backs off, you like take this path, stop him farming that camp, etc. But that's hard against Spirit Breaker. This is kind of the hero that just throws a wrench into everything about what Vici want to do in the early game. He's also such a tanky hero that if he wants to contest the axe, you're going to require both supports to come over just to stop him. He's not going to care about a CM right-clicking him. He has 5 base armor and 800 health.
Oh, does FY manage to find the ward? He's going to place on the low ground. I think that they're actually going to have vision on it. Not to mention the fact that Old 11 is going to be zoned out completely. I think that they get both of these. Oh, no, they took it down. Garter with the plays. That was definitely necessary.
Their offlane is already in good hands. Having the TP to get out there, securing level 2, it's just going to make his life so much easier now.
Man, that was great play. And the whole time through, Garter also, he steps over there, he eats the ward from the low ground, and now they don't have sentries. So CM is not going to get her level 2, like, for a really long time, because Axe is off on the other hard camp. So you can't afford to blow your early spells on mud golems. Like, this is really a rough start for FY.
Yeah, and you can see the fact ehome, they don't care about the potential of Axe TPing top and getting some experience, which is what a lot of people do. At least they get a kill here.
Yeah, that was nicely played. DDC is going to be the one that finds it. It was a surge away after the frostbite, but not able to find the kill. And now the Iron Shell creeps are actually going to chase down FY. I will say that this has been not as clean of a start as you're going to want out of a CM, and still almost 2 minutes into it, it's going to be a little while. And they don't have sentries, I don't think, either. Any more of them? They're all gone.
I doubt they're gonna bring them out either. They'll want items and upgrading the chicken, etc. Or they prioritize sentries. They're not gonna know this is obs. It could just be sentried because they only saw the one.
It's all you backseat people back there. His name used to be Garter, so still changed his name to Guardian. Screw you guys, but ehome is going to be able to get level 2 relatively soon on this. I mean, this is a lane that you want to try and apply pressure for onto the Sven with the Old 11 and Spearbreaker, but Spearbreaker, after dying, it's kind of in a little bit of a rough spot. Do you think that they can still be aggressive here? I mean, Old 11 is already going to start falling again. They've got the Thunder Strike, and Frostbite is a little bit of trouble trading hits. They don't have Glimpse, but Kinetic Field is going to be laid out. They end up being able to catch him right on the edge, and that's a kill. Now turning on to Guardian, and they're going to head out of there.
Oh, they're just getting straight up outplayed in this lane. It really comes down to like just not having iron shells on the hero that isn't getting gone on. Because the way you stop the CM and Disruptor from chasing you is the other hero that isn't getting gone on runs at them with iron shell, and they're not going to continue to chase, otherwise they're going to give up their life. Probably both lives. They haven't managed to achieve that yet. So they're at least getting a lot out of the fact that Darkseid wants to keep coming down here. It's working out a lot better than I'd expect. It's still overall like pretty good for ehome, I'd say, because Drug's getting completely uncontested. I'm in the top lane, Old Chicken's having as good as you can ask for a mid lane. OD's naturally gonna test your farm a bit, but he's getting the levels he needs.
And I guess I'm also wondering now, like, do you just start stacking up the camps over here for Lanham? He is going to be going for it looks like, and tries to secure his own farm. But another battle for the rune. They have the Ion Shell in the area, and they don't feel comfortable saying for it. So an Invis Spearbreaker now with Ion Shell on him. Support's got to be careful.
Very relevant. This could be someone going anywhere. And Invis Ion Shell, as we all know, is a real annoyance to play against. But look at FY here. He's a very, very sad human being.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I mean, it does reveal that the Spearbreaker isn't going mid, though, which was, I would imagine, at least one of the things that Vici might have been worried about, so...
Yeah. They're still, like, committing multiple heroes on VG to this lane, which is good. You know, all their heroes are on their side of the map in the jungle, which just naturally leads ehome to get a bit more out of the map.
The plus side, though, is Yang left uncontested at just about 5 minutes will be getting almost level 6 here. How much do you need to worry about this if you're the side of ehome? Like, is Axe going to be able to make those plays? As Old 11 ends up getting caught. They have the glimpse pulling him back in a lot of trouble. Frostbite's going to be there to follow, and Old 11 potentially going to go down again at this early stage. Sylar moves in though. Omni Slash on to end with the spin. Out of nowhere, Sylar shows up. Look at how low his mana is. 7 mana left. He timed that perfectly with the TP. That is such a huge play by Sylar.
And that is such a smart rotation. This is exactly what you want to be doing when you're putting pressure, and if that wasn't for the Spirit Breaker and Jug, Darkseid just becomes another free kill. Instead they counter kill, getting the most important hero on the map.
Yang gets the dunk. He is going to get chased upon by the Spirit Breaker, so they find the turnaround kill, but that does leave Old 11 alone with Sylar. Now Sylar might have slightly overextended. Nice surge away. Still fine for the moment and no glimpse. Done.
Darkseid's dead.
Oh, nicely done.
He didn't pick his boots up from the start.
Shadouken.
Dire's middle
Stormbolt
tower
comes out.
is under
That's
attack.
unfortunate. But they are going to get counter kills here. They both will probably die.
What is this game? FY, oh, good frostbite. Taking the right clicks, which is breaking those tranquils. Jukes towards the north, and it's going to try and escape, but yeah, there's just no way. That's going to be a dead CM. Pushed over into the corner.
This doesn't happen with any other hero than Spirit Breaker. You can argue heroes like Earth Spirit, but it's just nowhere near as fast paced.
Oh, Ghost in the mid lane, I almost found it. Yeah, and I guess that's what you're talking about in the laning stage as well, just the pressure he applies.
It's a very, very strong hero coupled with Darkseid. On its own, it just doesn't quite do as much as you would like, which is why you very rarely see the hero. It's a lot less all in when you've got Iron Shell to back you up.
Well,
Now he's level 5, he has his Urn. He can connect on a kill, that's gonna just help so much. Urn charge at this stage of the game deals so much damage.
what do you think about this Sylar that's just like hanging out down here in the bottom lane though? Like this feels so weird to me. FY is gonna get charged. You do like this though.
Yeah, if you look at the amount of farm he has, and like how you kind of want to correlate your timings, he's never going to be stronger in the game relative to how strong he is now. He is the strongest hero on the map by far, and he has Iron Shell to back him up and the support hero that's very happy to just dive towers, and they're just stopping and hitting creeps comfortably. He only has 34 CS. It's not ideal. You kind of want like 20 more.
What is going on here? This is a really weird state of affairs. The glimpse away for Guardian. He is no longer going to be there. DDC walks through the wall and is going to die for it. He was able to throw down that kinetic field as well, and they throw out the stun. Yang going to show up, gets the call. There's the dunk as well. So they do finally punish this, but what? This is a really weird game.
I mean, I predicted this was going to happen, because Spirit Breaker's a hero. I'm kind of curious on Lanham though. He's not going straight Axe, which is what I feel like you do in this situation. He's going Glimmer.
This might be a kill onto Old Chicken in the meantime though. FY is here, he gets the frostbite out, and the man, look at that blinding light pushback. Again, just such a huge thing for him, but the turnaround now, all of that magical damage, a huge Coddle Blast going through, and now starting to bring them low, glimpsing everybody away with whatever power they have. End is going to get chased down. He does pop that salve, so maybe they can go back into the fight, but Lanham just doing work. That's Coddle.
Spirit Breaker as well, just always there when you need him. He's not even maxing the charge, so he's not there as quickly as he necessarily could be, but he's still always there.
Radiant's top tower.
Another thing we didn't mention is Timber's going to have a very nice easy game with Chakra Magic.
That is nice. I mean, you get the cooldown reduction. It's basically, as soon as he's leveled now, he's going to be able to get it every time. Oh, Yang looking for the call. Doesn't find it, and they were thinking about charging that, but don't go for it.
And rightly so, they don't want to overcommit too much, because they are stronger at this stage, but the hero that makes them super strong wasn't there. So, you know, don't go too deep, just back off and keep getting more out of the map. I'm really curious about this Glimmer Cape first. I feel like it's an item you don't always go against Axe, because the hero naturally counters the invis aspect of it. And the magic damage, well, okay, both supports do a lot of magic damage with their ults, but not too much else elsewhere.
Yeah,
Radiant's
that's
bottom
something
tower
to,
It's
is
keep
weird
in
under
to me.
attack.
mind. Sanity's
Radiant
clips. I mean,
structures are fortified.
there's little bits and pieces here and there, and he's kind of a little bit of a weak hero. His Guardian is going to charge on DDC.
Radiant's bottom
Oh
tower
god,
is
it hurts to be a disruptor right now. Is barely going to be able to walk away from ult 11 with that kinetic field. So nicely timed there. Yeah, it's a bit of an
He
awkward
did well
one.
to get out of that. It's just so much pressure, and now they're wadding up the woods as well, so they're just going to continue restricting how much Vici can get. They've even been warding the Ancients, which is taking time from supports to de-ward that, and also puts them at risk. So they're not going to want to do that solo too often. And now it just gets to the point where Axe wants to finish his bling, he doesn't have the room on the map to farm as much as he would like, so he's getting the lanes. Supposedly the tanky hero.
That's a pretty
Now look
easy
at what
jump
happened.
through. They found the Chakram kill as well, and after the Spirit Breaker charge, there just wasn't any great way to keep him off of there. He needs to finish that off.
And there's just like not enough farm on the map for the heroes they've drafted, which is why I preferred ehome. They just... You can't have an OD and a Sven that are subpar on net worth.
Right click. Oh, but a blinding light pushback. He's gonna be able to survive, I think. Just like that. I mean, Glimmer Cape, they brought the sentry and they weren't able to find the kill even though he brought it. Goodness.
Like, they wanted to nerf this hero of the mana leak thing, which it's supposedly the most annoying spell in the game. I think they just gave him the new most annoying spell in the game. Because OD and Sven, sure, they want to buy BKB, but not until like the 30-minute mark. They never want to buy MKB. Sven can argue it over Daedalus, but you never really want to buy it. So, it's going to be really, really frustrating this game for them to deal with.
We'll have to see if they can make it happen. It's not the easiest thing in the world. BKB does take it off as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but that's a one-time thing. If you're BKBing off a blinding light and then you're getting Spirit Breaker ulted, etc., and Omni Slash, like, it's not a BKB game. The only reason you get BKB is for blinding light and the Timbersaw damage. It's not like the control elements or what's forcing you to buy it, which is generally the reason Sven gets it. He's going to want Echo Saber Blink first because those are very standard. Allow you to get on targets, allow you to scale more into the game.
Well,
If he has to play BKB, he'll be sad.
I mean, taking a look at this now, it's ehome who are in a pretty significant lead off the back of that Spirit Breaker play early on, and it doesn't really feel like it's going to stop anytime soon. Is there something that Vici can pick up, or a timing that they're going to be looking towards where this still kind of works out for them, or is kind of their game plan been foiled by just this early aggression we've been seeing? What's the play for them now?
Well, I think the best thing they can do is let the Axe get Blink and then start using him to counter gank, put your cores in somewhat dubious positions, and just counterplay the Spirit Breaker every single time and start feeding kills off of him. And that should start getting them into the game a bit more. At the end of the day, they only really need to control this area of the map, because that's where the Ancients are, and if Sven gets the Ancients for hard camp and one lane, he's going to be in, like, contention for top farm at least.
This is a rough one right here, as they are going to be able to find him out. They spotted that they were all in the area because of the scan a little bit earlier. The catch, turn around, FY in a good position. They have the call too. Static Storm doing a good amount of damage. I don't know if it's enough though. It's a full duration. CM ulti doing so much, but it's not going to kill anybody. They did finally bring down that Spirit Breaker, and now OD gone as well. Oh man, ehome still
they
survived.
Didn't even healing ward, and they still live for a full CM ult.
Oh,
that's actually ridiculous.
Dire's top
that
tower
hurts
is
so
under attack.
badly.
I mean, if Sven was there, I think they team wiped them.
Oh, UIF.
Radiant's bottom tower.
What a
I mean, it's not his fault for not being there. That was not a fight they want to take.
Radiant's
That was such great
Kind of-
positioning.
Yeah, but that's just kind of like no, we don't want to fight. Oh shit, they're initiating on us. What do we do? Well, we'll try and make the best of it with our two amazing support ultimates, and then we realize we don't do enough damage. And
Yeah.
Axe is just about as far away from his Blink Dagger as he was 2 minutes ago, so it's just getting even worse. The Ancients get blocked again, so Sven's not getting the luxury of getting that.
Well, we've still got now at this point Echo Saber coming up relatively soon. It's like you said, a very hard game at this point for Vici, but we saw in that fight, even without their carry, they were capable of bringing the side of ehome very low. Like, we start to get one good engagement from Vici Gaming, possibly taking down that healing ward before it's able to keep the entire team alive, and things start looking different. Hurts. It hurts the soul.
Yeah, it definitely does. But it is nice to see the aggressive lineup paying off. Because normally you get punished a lot for doing this.
That's true.
Nice
And
change of pace.
do you think that this is going to translate into one of those lineups where they do get punished for, I mean, having a potentially slightly limited... I mean, do they have a limited late game opportunity here?
No, I think that late game's fine. Mostly because they have the ability to keep lanes pushed in, and Coddle recalling heroes around the map is always a good thing. Don't get me wrong, Vici's late game is straight up better, but they're going to need to take the fights eventually, and I don't think it's going to get to late game. And if it is, it's probably in Vici's favor. ehome will look to finish this out, probably 2 Roshans. They just need their jug to get big enough. I imagine he goes like Diffusal or Scatty next.
I mean, they're going to be able to find Ghost here as... Oh my god, that was scary. Do you like one of those over the other? I mean, Diffusal comes on a little bit more quickly.
I think if you're going to go Sanction Yasha, you don't go Diffusal. Because it just halves the effectiveness if you don't have Manta. I'm a big fan of SNY though, because Manta Illusions, they just get nerfed every patch, I feel like. They're no longer what they used to be.
Now sitting...
At the end of the day... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, they're taking these tier 2 towers here, and I mean, Axe does have his Blink Dagger, so I feel like they're thinking about it. Why? Moving forward, they've got Static Storm available as well, and... that hurts.
Maybe they're just like smoking, waiting for like a glimpse when they back
there
off.
they go. They got the glimpse. There's the call. Frostbite as well. The Static Storm has dropped down, and they get the Glimmer Cape as well as the mech, and misses the call now. The turnaround is going to be there. Carter doing a lot of damage, but he's going to drop an old chicken, able to kill off that OD. Oh, the fight was supposed to go so much better than that. End is still controlled here, slowed down by the mana leak, and just can't do anything. Trying to get on top of old chicken. Can they bring him down? Very tanky, and a triple kill for Lanham on the Coddle. Oh.
Yeah, he got his reward, so he literally won that fight for them with a blinding light. Pushed CM ulti out of the radius to do damage like the incoming heroes. What looked like a very free dark tier kill suddenly converts into a horrible fight for them. And unfortunately they don't quite have the damage to get the tier 3, but they just got so much money. Coddle's halfway to his Ags, Jug has halfway to a tier 4 item, or Finish is a mediocre item. And Roche is definitely looking more and more feasible for them.
This is a hard game indeed, and now like you've got this DD rune down bottom. If they do go over in that direction, I feel like Jug just takes it and goes. A 10 net worth lead. We've been talking about it, but it's also the items that are starting to come up. Coddle is gonna have his Ags relatively shortly because he's just got a triple kill in the bottom lane at 18 minutes. Oh, what a hard game for Vici Gaming.
I feel like it's just gonna get worse for them because their lane push is mostly from Sven. OD is not the best at pushing out lanes when he doesn't have maxed Astral. It's just scary to show on the map at any point because Spirit Breaker and Coddle can kill anyone. You just have Coddle sitting in the trees somewhere, which he's not going to do right now because he wants to farm. But as the game progresses on, he's going to sit in trees, Spirit Breaker's going to charge someone from base, you recall in the Jug, who probably buys a Blink Dagger, and then you just kill someone. And BG have to group up because that's a very real threat even now.
So
it's just less likely to happen.
Here's a more meta-oriented question for you. This is the first, I would say, LAN It is actually the first LAN that's taking place since the most recent change. To you, is the Coddle change with the Blinding Light the biggest one? Like, is this now its strongest spell, or I'm trying to figure out how to work this because it's such a huge radius.
I still think Recall's stronger because it's an inherent mechanic that only exists on him and Wisp. But yeah, Blinding Light is now a way more annoying spell than Mana Leak. It was always like a huge anti-carry thing, but now the pushback is relevant every single game. I think teams are very quickly going to key on to this, and Ice Frog may have regretted this change.
I mean, I'm thinking about this in the middle of a Roche pit. This will push everybody up to the cliff, I think.
We saw it the other game, like when we cast yesterday. 3 heroes on this cliff, which is not easy to do anymore.
Yeah. That's so nuts. Well,
the cast range on it is insane as well.
it's so big. This is, I mean, it just takes up the whole screen almost. You think about how big a black hole is, it's, what's that going to be, about 1/3 larger, roughly? No, 50% larger? Yeah, that's nuts. It's right around there.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's actually more than 50% larger because at 675 range, 50% larger would be 640, 630.
Good buff, Ice Frog. Good buff. The community's gonna hate you. Cuddle's already like a cancerous hero to play against in pubs. Now it's for a different reason. And he's got his axe in, 300 gold. Fortunately, it's not daytime for like 2 minutes, so I imagine they still play without it. No, it doesn't look like they want to actually, they just want to wait for daytime. So they still have time with the Aegis once he finishes that. They even get to kill the Sven here if he doesn't TP out.
Sylar going in and flirting with danger, just trying desperately to get to a creep wave. Hopefully they're going to be able to get away before the Omni Slash comes, but in a lot of trouble now. The right clicks not going to be enough to keep Sylar alive. And meanwhile, over on the other side of the map, they get a 4-person vacuum wall, but there isn't really a whole heck of a lot of follow-up. I still think that's fine, though. They bring Sylar back into the fight, and now the charge is going to be coming through.
Global presence.
Oh, man. That's such a hard one, and now Sylar getting spun and pulled forward, but Yang taking the damage, bearing the brunt of it. FY is going to move back in, does still have his ulti available, but it's so hard to make this happen. I mean, Blinding Light is still available for them, and Ghost trying to right-click Old Chicken, see if they can start to wear them down. They do get the Frostbite on the Sylar, but he still has his Aegis. Jump forward, call, a lot of spins, mechanism, turn around, they throw out the chakram onto FY, they glimpse Old Chicken back on that Timber Saw, but now in the kinetic field, they just bring down that Disruptor. No great way to stop it. The call is going to turn and pull them back in again. Say's clipped, doing a decent chunk of damage. FY with the ulti, healing back up, starting to bring Guardian low. They are going to find that kill, and Old Chicken might have been off more than they can chew. The Blinding Light is pushing them all over the map. It does still look, though, like the turnaround. Another 3-person call. Does he have the damage? The stun as well from Sven. They need the cleave, but they don't quite have enough to kill off anybody with the Timber Saw. And now End is gone. Lanham dominating spree. FY left alone. They have to buy back on everybody else. They need to make something happen here. Oh, God. They just wanted a little bit more damage. They are going to pull back to the Guardian Disruptor. The call connects, and the right clicks with the Arcane Orb coming in from Ghost. They charge through. Don't give a hoot. Static Storm down, not hitting on a whole heck of a lot of people. Sylar's going to start chasing down FY. That's another kill going their direction. And now Vacuum, but no follow-up. Yang, he is going to be Astral, trying to save his life. He's got the Chakram going through, and man, Sylar, godlike streak. There's just nothing left in the tank. Vici are through.
This is like death by 1,000 cuts. Slowly but surely, Vici will fall. It's just so hard for them. Like, as you said, they just lack damage. And that mostly stems from the fact FY went for this like 0-4-4 build, where he doesn't have any points in his queue, and I feel like that's actually game-breaking for them. Because they would have gotten several kills.
Yeah, I mean, oh, nice break there for the moment. They are going to control Old Chicken, and the stun is out. The right clicks as well. They do get that. Oh, he puts on suicides. Salt in the wounds. Can they find anybody? No, Omni Slash as well as the vacuum back onto several. FY barely getting away, but 11, they push back again. And no BKB in sight. He's gonzo. See you later, nerd. Ghost is going to run down Lana, but they just don't have the ability to kill him. Coddle is never going to die. Oh, what a hero. Ice Frog, what have you done?
Yeah, he's gonna regret this, I'm sure. I don't normally say that too much, except for when he like brought Earth Spirit into the game and stuff. But it's playing such a huge factor. It's really hard to say how big it is because I've played this hero for years and it's always been a niche spell that in certain circumstances wins you team fights. Now it feels like it's just doing it regularly. And the hero's not just an Ags bot or a recall bot or a mana bot anymore. It has genuine purpose that has huge impact in these team fights. And it's only going to get worse now he finishes his Ags. He just needs to get level 14 and then that's a 500 heal for his entire team. I'm sure they don't have Aegis anymore, but I think they're quite comfortable going as soon as Sylas spends his 5k.
I'll take that.
I mean,
They definitely don't want to go before that. He should spend his money.
the other thing that's rough about this is looking at the game is like, it's on a 12-second cooldown once you get to the max level. Right now, 16 seconds, but that's also reduced by Chakra Magic. So you can throw out so many of these in a team fight with the Glimmer Cape. It's just keeping them alive, and I don't know. I'm kind of flabbergasted at this stage. Granted, there's other problems with Vici's draft. It's not just all down to the Coddle. It feels like ehome have built a very dynamic draft that has really just been able to work flawlessly this game. But do you think we'd see the same type of things if Lanham was not just left to freely pull throughout the early stages?
Yeah, definitely. The hero would still be just as relevant. It kind of just... Before, when you used to pick Cole, it used to be for one or two reasons. You wanted to like sustain your carry with things like mana. So PL was very classic combo when he got changed. Then it became a hero you wanted to sit in the woods and farm with because it had this amazing agonim. So it kind of won you the game around the 15-20 minute mark if you could start pushing with it. Now it just has another use and it doesn't even need farm, it just needs level 6.
Yeah, well.
And I like the change because I feel like it pushes the hero in a more useful direction overall. But the hero was already really, really good. It just was hard to run in certain lineups because it was punishable in the lanes. Like if you played against Darkseid Spirit Breaker as a Coddle, you were not a happy person at all. But if you're playing with the Coddle and that duo, then suddenly you've got all the room in the world to do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And it's showing this game. He has the same farm as Sven pretty much.
Yeah, it's
And
nuts.
he's going to do more than Sven in fights, like way more than Sven. He'll
That's
probably
true.
do about the same amount of damage. He'll contribute to the control, where the fight's taken, who's actually in the fight because of recall. Buybacks become a huge aspect because no one has BOTs at this stage of the game, but they have a Coddle, so they don't need BOTs.
Yeah, that's the
You know,
problem
and
right now. Is like, I mean, how do you really even begin to? I mean, this is what we would see previously with the Storm Spirit as well in the Coddle combination, or you would have Kunkka, Coddle, and then one other mobile hero that was on top of it, and all of a sudden you're in this like situation where you can just constantly go at your opponents, which is so hard to deal with. And now, I mean, Lanham is it's nighttime, so maybe Vici Gaming can make something happen. Roche is gonna respawn in 19 seconds at this point. We've talked a lot of mess about how bad this game has gone for Vici Gaming since the early stages. What's the way back into him at this point? You said that Sven needs to spend his gold. He's got a BKB now online. Is this enough?
It's step one. I still think it's hard for him now that the Jug's so far ahead because he's going to lose the man fight. And their smoke got scattered out by the fact they dewarded, and now this base is going to get hit by this creep wave, so it's going to be extremely obvious for ehome. They shouldn't lose anyone to this, and then they can just pressure the other lane. The top lane's even pushing as well, so it's even more obvious.
They're gonna head down towards Old 11. Oh, he gets recalled though. Yeah, and he's playing that about as well as he can. Get the Ion Shell, and that might signal the Vici to look back up this direction, but He's
No,
gone.
they just go Roche now.
Yeah.
Sorry, ehome. I keep getting Chinese teams mixed up. Yeah, Vici are going to get forced back to base now. They're going to have to push out these 3 waves. They even scan the Roshan pit, but I don't think they can contest it. If they do, it's going to be extremely YOLO with very little vision.
I really
If
hope
ehome
that
is
they
smart
do.
about it, though.
I really want to see a Coddle eliminate or a blinding light. They're actually going to take the fight over here. They stun on old 11. The mana leak is there for Yang. They push them all away from the static storm, so doing a decent chunk of damage. A Persial caught through as well. The Timbersaw jumps down Yang. They drop the Sanity's Eclipse, so Darkseer is gone, and Old Chicken also starting to take some damage. They pop the BKB for End if they can find enough. Oh, they're going to be controlled though by that Spirit Breaker ulti, and End is gone. Omni Slash came out. Sylar's too big at this point. FY with about as good of a CM ulti as you can find. There's 1,000,010 pings going out. Can he do it? He's doing so much damage in the midst of all of this. Sylar's starting to fall, and I think that he does go down. They get the orange charge seat. FY with the CM. Holy shit, that was a lot of damage.
The real carry is still alive on Vici Gaming.
Okay.
But so is ehome's true carry. He's still alive. That all just stems down to them fighting without nighttime and taking an engagement they really didn't need to take. You know, if ehome was slightly more disciplined and just backed off, because Vici can't take Roche. They can't take a fight into ehome that's ever going to be favorable if they just have lanes pushing with Iron Shell and they use the recall smart. But that's step 1 for Vici, I guess, because they got a lot of money off that fight. It's just, how much is it really going to matter? I feel so bad saying this, because I want to have hope for them. I really do.
Well, I mean, you start...
Just,
I think that if
I've played with this, I've played against it, and Colo just makes these games so easy when it's daytime, and it's just about to hit. And they're going to have a Roshan when the Jug respawns. There's even a nice little DD rune, so... He's going to get recalled by the Coddle. He can probably finish his Moonshard, I imagine that's what he's going for. So he picks up the Aegis, consumes his Moonshard.
Well, I mean, that's once he starts to get that amount of damage output, Sylar is going to start hitting here. I mean, if they can find a pick, granted, you don't want to fight into a DD Juggernaut.
They have to fight.
This is a little bit
so
tenuous. They might catch this. I mean, if they break the smoke immediately, they're just going to end up, I believe, backing out or possibly just finding a really good vacuum wall combo. Also,
bottom tower is
they're
under
not
attack.
going to run into each other yet.
I love the Sifa lens on Coddle as well.
Oh, the scan. All right, Dire spots him. There's a lot of trees here, but now it's daytime. FY is not going to be able to do as big of an ulti, but they might be able to bring down Old Chicken. Good BKB. Right as the blinding light came out, the charge through. They point Spirit Breaker out of the fight. Omni Slash, though, is on to end, and he didn't have anything to do right there. FY still doing a good bit of damage in the midst of this tree little grove, but it's going to be able to be pushed away. So FY is not really doing as much as he would need to. They're trying to chase down Yang on this side of the fight, and I think that FY manning up against Lanham, who's going to win this one? Spirit Breaker comes in and secures that one's gone.
Let the carries fight. That's just rude. Yeah, that's more how you'd expect the fights to go with daytime. And it's so hard when your Sven dies to an Omni Slash. You know, I think he tanked every bounce when there was an axe next to him, but yeah, he just melted.
Yeah, this is the problem now, and with the heals coming out, with the towers starting to fall, Vici Gaming around 20,000 net worth behind and roughly 20,000 experience behind. This is at least going to be one set of barracks, and I don't know if they can really hold the other one either.
I mean, they're going to have to try, but it's very, very unlikely. They didn't have the damage before Axe came out. I think ehome are giving them a lot of respect here doing this, so.
This is a problem. I mean, and again, it just harkens back to what you were talking about, that this type of strategy, once it becomes daytime, you need to hit your timing so well for Vici with all the rest of your heroes, and they are going to go for one last hurrah here. I believe that ehome should realize that this is happening. All of the creeps are pushing in on their base, but they're still somewhat grouped up. There's an opening here. If they can find Old 11, Old Lanham, Sylar all in the area, Yang looking for the call. It's potentially going to get 3. Oh, they lift him up with the Yules. This might as well be GG right here. Omni Slash connecting on it too. Vacuum wall. Oh, God, it's all gone wrong. End is going to get destroyed. They didn't hit the call. This one's pretty good, bringing Sylar low, and they do find that kill at the very least, but Old Chicken blinking back in, trying to take down the side of ehome, doing a lot of damage, but yeah, there was no way. Triple kill for Old 11, ultra kill for a Darkseer. That's the way you want to end it, and GG finally called.
Yeah, poor Vici. I just feel like they just got outdrafted this game, and they kind of, despite the few early kills they got in the bottom lane by outplaying ehome, ehome quickly kind of reassessed the situation, and Sylar played brilliantly as well. Like, his early rotation changed the game and put them back on the pace they wanted to be on, and sitting bottom, denying the farm from the Sven, because he couldn't die. The Axe wasn't going to ever get a call on him, because the Axe would die if he did that. I know, they just played it really smart after like the 5-minute mark. When they made those few initial errors, they very quickly changed it up, and it's nice to see Colo back to tier 1 status.
Absolutely. It's a terrifying image indeed. Old Lanham, Gandalf the White on his horse. He looks mighty pretty over there, doing a whole heck of a lot of work. You take a look at some of the damage figures in these engagements. CM, 14,000 for her team. Connell as well. He didn't do a ton over there, but it was really just those positioning things and the blinding light, the amount of damage mitigated. PqMz, thank you so much for joining me. Any final thoughts on these two teams here?
I'm just happy for ehome. I really like that team.
Yeah. We'll see if Lanham can handle it. What? Go ahead. Sorry. Cut you off there.
And it's nice to see Sylar back to playing. I think he's still one of the best carries in the world. Watching him play is a joy.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us here. We still have another series that's going to be coming up shortly. ehome are not done for today either. They have to play the winner of our next series, which is lgd.forever Young facing off against ehome.keen. So the young squad might end up facing the old squad. We'll see if that matchup's going to happen. Stick around, everybody. More great Dota 2 action soon to come.